I'm Michaela Winger. I'm a scenic artist and a local gardener here with the Big Potato Foundation. Today we're working out in the Apopka Billie Community Garden. Today we're installing a drip irrigation system and we're going to show you all the parts that you need.
Okay, show us the first part.
So right here we have a timer system. This one is a battery operated and you can get solar operated as well, but we got this one here at the Lowe's.
Show them what that looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our first piece. Our second piece is going to be a 25 PSI regulator. This little doodad right here, found in that same section, our micro irrigation system at the Lowe's or Home Depot. This piece here is our adjuster. It'll, little poly fitting faucet piece.
And you want a 1/2 inch one of those.
Yes, 1/2 inch. These here are Goof plugs. They're gonna be put in the end of your drips. And they come in big old packs of 16, so you really only need one. We have a lot to do with our entire community garden. These 1/4 inch vinyl couplers. And they're these little bits and they come in 15 packs. You need as many of them as you have beds that you're running drips to. This will be your direct connection to the drips. These L pieces, you're gonna need, we're doing 6 beds and we need 7 of them.
Or you can get the ones that look like this as well. They're a little less expensive.
Cut off in there. They're a bit cheaper and they honestly work kind of better.
I think they work a little better, but it depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are the T connectors in case you need, you might need a few of those.
Yep, T connectors and L connectors.
Depending on the shape of your construction.
Yes. These here are valves. These are where they come up. So you'll need as many of those as you have starts to your drips as well.
Okay.
These are our tubing. So we have 2 different types. This is a 1/4 inch drip tubing. We did 50 feet for each of our beds and it comes in a pack for 100.
Okay.
And then we also did 50 for each set of beds, the 6 sets, but we got 100 roll. I recommend stretching it out a long distance and then cutting in half if you're doing smaller amounts.
All right.
To cut that, we do have the little, this is so handy. All you have to do is put the tube in it and turn it around and it cuts it perfectly. So we'll save you so much time and effort.
And this little orange tool.
This little orange tool is for piercing the tube, and that's where you'll put your little couplers in to attach the drips.
Okay.
And then these we used when our pipe came out of the ground. Instead of using a sort of stopper, we folded it over in these little, they're called
Crimpers.
Poly and Crimpers. And they come in packs of 3.
There we go.
So we got 2. Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Awesome.
And then of course you need a tape measure probably.
Tape measure is very helpful.
And a shovel.
And a shovel. Oh, and we also
trenches.
used, when they came out of the ground, we also used these little doodads. They're galvanized tube straps.
And those will connect your hosing to your bed.
So we started digging the trenches, as you can see here. We're going to be running the 1/2 inch poly tubing underground. It's important that you dig them deep enough that they don't get unearthed. So roughly 6 to 10 inches. If your area has sandy soil, you want it to be on the deeper side. Your layout is going to depend on your space, but the goal is to connect your water output at the spout to a bed or several beds. If you're connecting 1 row of beds, you'll want it to run about 2 feet out from the bed. Or if you're doing 2 rows like we are, you should run it down the center. We dug out the center trench and took it to the corner of each bed where we'll attach the hoses to the frame. Isn't I elegantly flick dirt?
She's got a narrow trench digging shovel, which makes the process a lot easier if you happen to have one of those, but if you don't, any old pony shovel will do the trick.
We're fighting weeds.
Yeah, we're always fighting roots and leaves and weeds,
Actually,
maybe
my
rocks
weed.
in your garden. Helps to have one of those as well for that purpose.
Nice.
Yep,
So to put the L piece in, you just make a cut with your tool, and then we're going to grab the piece and we'll show you how it goes in there.
Okay. What? Wiggle, 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 yeah.
So here we're just attaching a T connector so that the main hose goes to the bed. And then just push in with barbs.
Make sure you push it all the way in.
Yes, as far as you can get it.
Takes a little bit of muscle.
A little bit of elbow grease, a little twisting sometimes to get it there. There you go. And then he's cut off, it doesn't have to be quite that long. It can be like 12 to 14 inch piece of that 1/2 inch tubing. And he's just inserting it on the top here and screwing that on. Good, and there it goes. Sometimes it's a little tricky. You just got to make sure your connection is good and tight so that there's no leaking. Ideally, we would have crimpers, and I'll show you what those look like. Actually, let's show you what those look like right now. That's what those are for, but we ran out of those. So in a pinch, we're using electrical tape. We may go back and replace that with the crimpers when we are done. He's just making a simple bend and then tying that bend together. I imagine you could probably use garden twine, something like that. That garden
Zip
bendable.
tie.
Yeah, a number of things could be used to create that bend.
Just
There we
crimping it. It's just stopping the flow of the water.
Great.
Timer up here. It's
There's the
actually.
timer. The
Timer.
timer gets attached to the spout.
Always remember righty tighty, lefty loosey.
And this is the 25 psi regulator.
Yes.
And it just screws right on there.
And then we have the poly facet fitting.
Okay.
And touch right on here.
And that is attached to
The
a
1/2 inch poly.
section of 1/2 inch poly hosing.
Yes, that we're gonna run under. We might install an L piece if it's too abrupt of a.
Yeah,
of an
that one's a
angle
bit of
here.
an abrupt turn, so we probably would need to make a cut and install an L just in that, just in that
just so we
first
have a straight
piece.
shot down.
So we have these elbow pieces, and they simply plug into one side with a barb so that it stays put. There we go. And those are these pieces.
Home Depot. Getting it for cheap. You want to poke a hole all the way down to the base? I like to twist it a little bit to make sure it's nice hole. And then you're gonna insert your coupler. Ah! Get in there. Get in there. Come on. There we go. Okay. And then into our drip hose. Twisty, 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 twisty. Twisty, 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 twisty. Twist really good.
So here is how your 1/4-inch tubing might look after you've attached it to the coupler. We chose a newly planted bed so you could see how you might be able to run the drip irrigation tubing throughout your bed to make sure that it hits all the plants. Now we've mentioned that the 1/4-inch tubing comes in intervals of 6 inches or 12 inches for the little drip holes, so just choose what works for your bed situation. Now Michaela's going to show you how to put this Goof plug in at the end to make sure that the water is flowing appropriately through your tubing.
Alright, so when you've got it all coiled up on your garden, the last step, you're going to take your Goof plug and put it in the end. You're going to Goof plug for each line. And wedge it in there. Ta-da! It's been goofed. Bum-ba-da-dum.
Underneath the mango tree, swaying in the summer breeze, me and my baby, happy as can be. Underneath the mango tree, I've got a girl, she's on my mind, and I think about her all the time. It's the way that she enters the room with style and grace and that smile of mine. Become in love, ooh, underneath the mango tree, swaying in the summer breeze, me and my baby, happy as can be, underneath the mango tree. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, scooby-doo-bop, beeby-doo-bop, scooby-doo-bop-bop, oh. Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, scooby-doo-bop, baby-doo-bop, scooby-doo-bop-bop, oh. Well, feelings like this, they started with a simple kiss, and now I'm in love, ooh, underneath the mango tree.